Welcome back. Today we talk about the success story of BMW Motors. 1945. In the mid-1945, BMW receives permission to begin repairing the U.S. Army and the automotive elite. It can also spare parts for making agriculture, machinery and bicycles. Tada! How to BMW first bike with lightweight aluminum frame comes to life. Motorcycles can also be offered again, but BMW is home and is not in a position to do so. Initially using spare parts, Eisenach continued to build a BMW car plant for Soviet use, but in 1951 the brand name Eisenacher Motorrennwerke, EMW, is introduced. A Soviet joint stock company Autoaulo advocated the creation of what was supportive. The factory is nationalized in 1952, from 1955 and starts production of the Wartburg brand car. October 1945 in the United States military orders and dismantling of BMW factories in Munich and Alake. This deprived BMW of control over property in Munich until 1949, US surveillance lasted until 1955 at Alake. Almost all devices are intact and remove shipping compensation worldwide, hitting the Milbertshofen factory particularly difficult in Munich. There is almost no BMW activity in the following years. 1948. At Geneva Motor Show in 1948, Arlington British car companies, Fraser, Nash and Bristol put licensees earlier than models based on BMWs, since BMW is not capable and is not allowed to manufacture after the war. There is despite the high demand for the BMW S.R. 24 bicycle, equipped with 4-gear, single cylinder, with 247,000 copies, and a 12 horsepower engine. Construction designs for the first post-war BMW motorcycle were ready by the summer of 1947. The first was raffled P24 to staff shortly before Christmas 1948. The first criterion, the production of an amazing model sells in the country for a long time because of the war, the disadvantaged and the aftermath. 1949. BMW is back again, the first motorcycle show since 1941 in New York. 1950. The 250 copies to the extent imposed by the Allies have been raised. BMW produces the first motorcycle with engine boxer, between 500 copies to R51/2. This was followed in 1951 by the R51/3 and P67, with the options /2 and /3 boasting 600 copies to the engines. With demand far outstripping supply, these bikes are wasting sales success. 1951. The first car type and after the end of the war, the V8 luxury sedan equipped with 501 produced in 1951 was poor production to choose a country that was also destroyed by the war. Demand for the 501 was low and even a Calm was close to meeting BMW expectations. With the plant Eisenach now under Soviet control, it is also the first BMW car to be built completely in Munich. The 500 series cars BMW may not be the most glamorous products, but these large and middle-class forces are the mainstay of the machinery of the company's automotive division from 1951 until 1964. They were nicknamed Barockengel, the angel's cost, because the shape and look like flowing woody carved lines. The figures contained in southern German, Austrian and churches were back in the period of cost. From 1954 onwards, it is joined by the 502, which owns the world's first light V8 alloy engine. 1952. Between 1952 and 1954, BMW produces an exceptional speed BMW R68, capable of carrying about 160 km per hour in top gear. This version to 600 motorcycles with 35 horsepower, it sets a new standard for international motorcycle makers. Selling at 4,000 Deutsche Marks, the exclusivity is also an integral part of this motorcycle as well, as it has never exceeded 1,452 it has ever been built. BMW motorcycle production has increased from 10,000 to 30,000 units. 1953. BMW for 100,000th motorcycle, R67/2, comes from assembly lines. 1954. 3 years after BMW resumed production of passenger cars, the first in the world, all-aluminum V8 engine enters production in 1954 in Munich. Smooth operation. This piece of device combines power and silence. It initially produces 100 horsepower and can van BMW 502 to speeds of 160 km/h. Van BMW 507 later even can reach 220 kilometers. In 1954, BMW creates a search engine to build a facility at the factory Lake, which survived the war harm. In 1957, this Trieb Werkbau becomes BMW GmbH. Company man buys 50% of the company in 1960. Under license from Lycoming, the company begins production of 264 horsepower with a 6-cylinder engine boxer. It also makes the gas turbine small for light aircraft, and stable to use. BMW is the towed bike car world champion and stayed up for the next 20 years. 1955. BMW in 1955 and won the hearts of the public Isetta. Only 29 meters long, the company obtains a license to build a moto coupe from the International Organization for Standardization in Italy. Powered by a 12 or 13,000 horsepower BMW motorcycle engine, more than 160,000 people bought the Isetta in the 50s, making it the most sought-after BMW of the decade and a symbol of the post-war boom years. 1956. The suspension arm on the R50, R60 and R69 takes on the market by storm. Swing slip forward wheel arm and long suspension rear arm stop will bearing BMW bikes previously unattained stability levels. But the motorcycle bubble seems to have burst. The number of BMW motorcycles produced 30,000 declines in 1954 to a mere 5,400 in 1957. Wilhelm Noll sets the world's new record 280.2 kilometers, of never permanent. He reaches 139 kilometers, after 1 kilometer and 166 kilometers, after 1 mile. His average speed after 5 miles per hour at 266 kilometers per hour. 1956. 1957. The 507 is probably the most widely recognized BMW classic of the 50s. It is also a big competitor to Mercedes 300 SL, which is inspired by US importer Max Hoffman, from BMW, who said he could sell high-performance sports cars in large quantities if the company could offer them. Designed in less than a year by Albrecht Gortz, the BMW 507 is a very exclusive sports car, only a total of 252 adoption. Most of the business it does is hand, which is specially designed for the customer to meet every buyer's wishes. It's timeless good looking, with a smooth, flexible silhouette and expansive bonnet curves, ensure that it remains the embodiment of the car's dream to this day. The then new power unit 150 horsepower V8 of 502 3.2 liters super, plus 10 horsepower. 1958. Designed by Willy Black, the BMW 600 was intended for an expanded Isetta with a more powerful 3-wheeled and more traditional 4-wheel configuration. The interface was almost unchanged and the 600 was from the Isetta, but after the frame for the bar was holding 600 to accommodate the pressures on the 4 seats. 1958. Ernst Hillier, riding a BMW, Austrian wins in the Grand Prix. 1959. Herbert Quandt Financier acquires a large number of BMW shares and then begins the process of reorganizing the company, leading to its independence. Majority shares. Quandt is the first member of the advisory board later and sits on the supervisory board, which contributes greatly to the BMW company's renaissance as a globally significant. Heavy sustaining after significant financial losses in the limousine sector, the merger with Daimler-Benz is planned. But Chairman Kurt Golda, along with the workforce and trade unions, convinced most shares Herbert Quandt that BMW has a future. Quandt Daimler, Benz rejects her last-minute offer. This model of the BMW 700 will put on his feet again. It is the first vehicle for a uniform body, floor, walls and side roof are welded to the occupant cell. The results of the end of the year showed the BMW Group's desire for consumers to own BMW and Mini cars, while all exclusive dealers and authorized distributors of the group approved an increase in sales during 2015 and a number of markets announced significant growth, including Abu Dhabi, which topped the markets that achieved the largest volume of sales, where sales increased by 39%, Dubai announced growth of 19%, Saudi Arabia, where sales improved by 43%, and the Sultanate of Oman with 18%. Thanks for watching, support us by likes and subscribes.